Hey guys, Shrimpets here, and Happy New Year! And I just wanted to... Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to change my clothes. Give me 1 second. Let me just switch right here, switch there, and... a new PNG! Well, sprite, but it's also PNG. I made it the other day. I hope you guys like it. I personally love it. And actually, the drawing that you're going to see in the background while I yap is of the sprite. But I hope you guys really like it. If you have any feedback, feel free, but I love her. It's basically myself, Sona, aka me, but just a little bit jazzed up. Basically, I have some Shimo-isms to me, like the little horn and the tail, but otherwise it's just me. But anyway, I hope you guys had a good new year, overall a good holidays. This video is actually going to be about art goals. I'm not going to call them resolutions because that's cheesy and overdone, but I personally have some art goals, and I kind of want to talk about how to make goals for yourself when it comes to being an artist, so that way we have some sense of a path forward and a goal to get to, because ideally we want to crush these goals this year, not be a resolution that just kind of sits around and doesn't eventually get completed. But yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, so of course I made this in time for New Year's. Happy New Year, like I said. But anyway, the first thing you might be asking yourself is, why do I need goals? And by I mean you guys watching. Which we set goals in our daily life, whether it be to wake up in the morning or making it to work, which I know seems bare minimum, but for everybody's different, right? Making sure you head to the gym 3 times a week or whatever it may be, right? Goals are there to help you motivate you to get to something, whether it be positive, and I don't want to say negative in that sense, but like a way to reach something, right? At some point. It could be the day, it could be in a week, it could be in a year, it could be in 10 years, you know? So for artists, I would say goals are very important, right? For example, a goal that a lot of artists set is to just improve. It's a very broad term. You don't really know what that's going to mean. You don't know what it's going to look like, but to just improve, generally speaking, is a good first goal to set, which I'll get into more methodical ways how to set goals, because that's kind of the point of the video, is for you personally, how do you make goals? And then at the end, I will get into what my goals are and kind of how I formed them myself. But let's start talking about how you can make goals for yourself, specifically made for you. Okay, the first thing to look at when you're thinking about goals is, where are you skill level wise? If you're a beginner artist, your goals are going to be different than a professional artist. So for those beginner artists, which you do a video about things I wish you knew as a beginner artist, so feel free to check that out if that's something that kind of has a jump off point. But anyway, I'll just get into it here as well. For those beginner artists, one thing you can have a goal for is anatomy. I've had a lot of younger artists or beginner artists reach out to me via, my streams, and they ask me, oh, how are you so good at anatomy, or how do you get started with anatomy? Which is fair, because anatomy is hard, and I am not perfect at it. I still struggle with hands to this day, and various other parts, right? So, anatomy is a good goal to start with, because at the same time, you make a foundation for whatever you want to draw. Unless you want to draw just anatomically correct animals, or you love landscapes, for the most part, whether it's drawing, furries or Sonic characters or funnily looking humanoid characters, anthropomorphic, it doesn't matter. Knowing the anatomy of a human, it can then branch off to those things. And with anatomy, you can use things like life drawing. I personally took life drawing in college, but for those of you who do not have access to college, there are plenty of websites. If I remember, I will try to link some here that have models. Pictures of models, and I remember there was one website where you can even set like a timer. You'd be like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, however long you want to practice, of just trying to draw that pose as best you can. I think that's a good step in the right direction as far as anatomy, because that way you can kind of get the natural form, you can see how it looks, and then you are practicing drawing it, and then with repetition you will get better over time. Another thing for beginner artists to set a goal is draw more frequently. Another thing that I've noticed from my friends actually is that a lot of them want to start drawing, but either A, they don't have the effort, they really don't feel like drawing, they know how long it takes to get decent, based on my experience of course, and I started young, so it's kind of easier, I would say, to start young and then become an adult, continue to draw because you're passionate about it. But I always tell my friends, you got to draw in order to improve, right? So actually putting your pen to paper is another goal to reach. I know it seems simple, but just motivate yourself to draw, whether that, like in my previous video, watching videos, look at Pinterest, reach out to your artist peers, what motivates them, or look at their art, or whatever it may be. that is also a good goal to have, is to just draw more. But anyway, for the more advanced artists, such as myself and others, a goal for one, depending on what you do, let's say for example you have a shop. Your goal for the year could be to have more shop sales than last year, or start a shop even, which is me. You know, those are good goals to have because it takes a lot of time to do these things. And like I mentioned, for all these goals, this is not something that will be quick. This is not something that will happen overnight. Because for one, it's going to be something you have to learn to get into, like make a habit of. But when it comes to progress, that will just, again, happen over time. Especially with art ability and like improving or learning a new skill set, which I'll get into in a second. Again, never rush this stuff. And don't expect it to happen even in a year. Like, obviously this is 2025, so I'm making it about just artist goals for the year. But like, a lot of these things will span into the whole next year, which then you'll make new goals and cater them differently from how the last year went, all that stuff. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Starting a shop, getting shop sales, getting new products. That's also some goals that you can have when it comes to shops on that side. On the commission side of things, try to get more clients, try to offer more things, potentially review your prices as well. It's definitely an epidemic right now where artists are undervaluing themselves. Please, if you are curious of what to value art, I don't care. You can shoot me a DM or comment under here. I would love to look, because I've seen from my peers and just randoms on Twitter, too many people are undervaluing their work, and it's frustrating because I feel like people can take advantage of you for that, which this is a whole other conversation, but I just want to say, please don't undervalue art. You are worth way more than what you give yourself credit for. Anyway, that's more of the commission side of things. But minus like financial stuff, what about like more adventurous things like going to cons and doing like an artist alley table? I would personally love to do that. That's not in my goals for this year. I just don't think I have the time. But I one day I will go to a con, because there's too many happening in Texas where I haven't gone. And I would like to have a table set up. But in order to have a table set up for me, I need to have more merch and stuff like that. But anyway, that aside. Also merch, that's another goal that advanced artists or professional artists really could have. But then, okay, minus all the financial stuff, artistically wise, some of the stuff can carry over, such as drawing more, because with my busy life, I don't draw as much outside of like streaming, which personally, streaming helps me draw, so it's not a complaint. But it'd be nice if I could find the time to just kind of draw things outside of stream. Another thing is to do more dynamic poses. I'm kind of talking about mine a little bit, but again, we'll get to that at the end. But doing more dynamic poses. I feel like a lot of us get into a comfort zone when it comes to many facets of art, and especially comes to poses. And then same face syndrome is also in that category. Like I said, when you draw a certain thing often, you'll tend to lean into that more. So faces might look the same. I probably have this dilemma myself. It is what it is. And back to posing. Some people just have a good knack for drawing really dynamic poses, which, to get better at posing, obviously referencing poses online that you see people doing, like models, would be a good start. But yeah, and then color theory. This applies to everybody, but I'm just gonna leave it in the more advanced / professional category, because beginners, they need more foundational skills before they get into color theory. For me personally, I've been told I have good color theory and I enjoy color theory, but it's something that takes time to kind of get. I wasn't like formally taught or anything like that. Like obviously in college I read up about everything and it was talked about in class, but getting an eye for how colors work and what colors look good together is something that takes a lot of time, and it just kind of happens. But that's definitely a good goal to have as well, because once you kind of understand how colors work and how they look good together in pieces, it like unlocks something new for you. Highly recommend looking at color theory. Highly recommend just playing with the color wheel and seeing how certain colors match. And I've explained this in my streams before. Hue shifting, also part of color theory. Highly recommend you look it up. Highly recommend you make a video on it. Maybe I will make a video on like techniques when it comes to digital art. I feel like people care about that, and I've been doing it long enough where I think I could maybe make a video. We'll see. Maybe that's the next one. But anyway, I've yapped about hue shift enough, and it's very, very good. Highly recommend. Anyway, those are some broad stroke artist goals that I think everybody can apply to their daily life. But let's get into some of my goals. Okay, now it's time to talk about my goals. Not all of them are our goals, but majority of them will be. And like I mentioned at the end of my last video, one of my first goals I would like to do, generally speaking, is get monetized on YouTube. Again, not artist goal, but just want to throw it out there again. But anyway, my actual artist goals, one of them I already mentioned earlier, is dynamic posing. I'm a type of person who likes to just draw a person and it's just them and kind of, not really a pinup, but like in a way a pinup. That is my flow, that's what I'm used to. But sometimes I want to draw really cool poses, but I can't seem to get it out of my mind. I can't seem to pull it. Usually if I find a good pose, it's not from my own mind, it's from Pinterest or whatever, which is fine. But it would be nice for me to kind of break out of my comfort zone via my own mind and create cool poses that are dynamic to look at and make sense. And then my next goal is hands. I have always struggled with hands. I've definitely improved slowly over time. Like, definitely if I look back at my old art, I tend to just draw everything behind the back and that's it. Nowadays, I don't do that as much. I actually feature hands, but they're just more simplified. But it's a skill that I am jealous that other people have. Please give me that power. I would love to be able to do hands. But yeah, hands is a big anatomy problem that I have, so that's another goal I would like to do. And then another goal for me is to do more grandiose pieces. Like I said, I do very much just character, bam, done. I would like to do compositions with more characters in them. And then backgrounds, which is another point, but we'll just group it together. I'm not a backgrounds person. I don't really care for them, but I should be able to do them better than I do now, and I should actually not shy away from them. Funnily enough, the artist I mentioned last video, Emily Artley, did a landscape / backgrounds video because she was in the same position as me. Maybe I should do one and like challenge myself to draw backgrounds. But yeah, that's another artist goal that I have. Any others are probably more related to like my social media, Twitch, growing that and all that stuff, but which all I do is art for the most part, so it connects in tandem. But hopefully some of my artist goals were match for you guys. Please put your artist goals in the description. I would love to hear what you guys are working towards, what level you are as an artist, or other art forms, which I'm about to get into as well. But anyway, another art goal I would like to do, maybe not this year, it'd be nice, is to learn how to 3D model. It is very intimidating because I would like to make a low poly Shimo. That would be really cool. I took a class in college, but there's some foundational things I remember, but it was just tough all around, so I feel like I didn't get as much information as I could have there. But I have Blender. I would like to sit down and learn it. Maybe I'll stream it. I was attempting the donut. I didn't finish it, but it didn't seem too bad. But I meant to talk about it before, but if you want to learn something new, like not just illustration, but if you want to learn how to make music or learn how to 3D model like I mentioned, or code or whatever, like, this video is not sponsored by Skillshare. I wish it was. It'd be very cool. This felt like a good segue. No, but there's so many resources out there that can teach you how to do those things, like Squarespace, like YouTube for a free option. Honestly, if you look up anything you want to learn, you'll probably find a good video or a good set of videos, such as modeling my VTuber. Literally looked up so many videos to figure it out, and then I did it. So please don't feel like you can't do something. You can find so many resources via the internet. If you're in college, you can take classes for it, books. Like, please don't feel intimidated to start something new. You can, I promise you. And the new year is a good way to start. So dip your toes in something that you've always wanted to do and just do it, because you never know, you might find a new talent that you didn't know that you had. But anyway, yapping aside, once again, I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully, I feel like I was talking kind of fast, as I typically do, so I'm trying to slow down and like enunciate my words so you guys understand me, because I'll watch back older videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just ran through the whole thing, and I don't know if they even like understood what I was saying. Thank you, captions. Hey, maybe I'll start putting my own captions, I don't know. But again, I really appreciate the support on the last video. I was actually very excited to make this one, and I think, again, it's very timely, but it just came to me and I was like, I think that's a good video to make, because every year I like to set myself goals generally for what I want to do, and then at the end of the year we'll kind of look back and see what goals I reach. And last year, actually, one of my goals was to hit 1,000 subs on YouTube, and we achieved that. Thank you so much. And then another goal was to build my PC. which I also did. So hooray to me. I'll post a picture of it here. I love her very much. She's gorgeous. She's a powerhouse and I love her. But the moral of this video is that whatever you want to set your mind to, you can achieve. Again, it will not take a day. It's gonna take time, but as long as you're patient and willing to work on it and stick to it, you will achieve what you're looking for. I promise. But I hope you guys had a good new year. Let's get this year running. Let's achieve those goals. Let's push ourselves to be better than we were last year, and whatever that means to you, whether it be financially, whether it be mentally. For the majority of us, it's probably mentally, let's be real. And whatever that means to you. I really appreciate the support as always, guys. Again, let me stop yapping, let me get off this video. I'll talk to you guys next week. Maybe I will do a video on digital art techniques. If you guys would want a video like that, let me know. I will try to share what I know. I'm not a professional as far as, I guess technically I'm a professional because I've made money from my work, but I'm not the best digital artist out there. And but also, again, there's a lot of beginners in my community that will just like to know what the heck I know and how I make things come out. So I'll probably do that. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.